Okay, making plates. Plates are actually not so easy to do, or at least I don't find them easy to do. And plates, I definitely would use on the removable bat. I would not try to do a plate if it was not on a removable bat. If you watch YouTube's, gosh, there's at least 4 or 5 different ways that I've seen it, ways you can make plates. So I'm going to show you a couple today, or what I can remember. So I've got my piece centered, and the difference is, as I'm centering, I'm pressing down like a pancake. I'm using the pinky here to form it, and I'm also using the inside palm of my hand to kind of let it spread out slowly and keep it centered, but then this part here I'm trying to flatten it out. So a lot's going on right now. Flattening and keeping things within a space. You do not want your plates to get too flat, too thin. They'll crack. So I am using a lot of this part of my hand, kind of pressing it downward and outward. Now I might go with my hand, and I'm pressing towards the mirror. Little pressure, very slowly. Ease up on the pressure. I don't want it to go too swooped up just yet. So anytime I get towards the outside, notice how slow I'm going. Trying to create that slowly. And right now it's basically like I'm throwing up the side wall of the plate. You also will want to use your ribs on the plate because you do need it to be flat. I know a handful of you have always seen the pottery with those really nice swirls in the middle. I agree with you, they look really cool. But let's make sure we can create a flat bottom plate first before we create the swirl. Kind of like when you were in Ceramics 1 and I told you I want to see a basic cylinder before I see any different kind of shapes, organic shapes. So what you see me doing here constantly is I'm still trying to compress and flatten the center. At this point you're going to make sure there's no air bubbles here. Alright, you can feel some little bumps here and there, at least I can, and I'm trying to make sure they flatten out. Now you can also, there are different size plates, right? 9-inch plates. So if I would make a 9-inch plate, that's all the way out here. It's a pretty big plate. So I'm pretty much as large as I would want to go. I think us Americans could clearly start downsizing our plate size a little bit. But you eventually will want to measure your plate, because if you're going to make sets, then you all want them all to be the same size. If I'm going to have anything shallower, you would prefer to have this very inside shallower than the exterior. Alright, so this is all flat. Pretty happy with that. Now I'm coming to my edge, and just like wheel throwing, but remember you're only adding a little lip curvature to your plate. I think a pasta sauce or something like that, we don't want it kind of falling off. I have my sponge underneath there. I'm getting my finger in and beginning to lift it up a little bit. Just a little. I know right now it almost looks like it's a large bowl on the outside, but now I'm going to flatten it back down again. Alright, so I'm going to take my fingers and kind of flop it this way. And this is why when I tell you, once you can start doing cylinders, I really want you to play around with the clay and see what you can do. So I'm kind of giving it the plate edge. See, so you've got that side there, you've got a little plate edge here. All right. Now, so the problem is with plates. I just want to fix my rim here for a second, because then I'll have to show you later how to trim these. The problem with plates is trying to get it off the bat, okay? What I want to do is, I want this to dry just a little bit, like maybe 15 minutes worth, and then I'm going to pull the wire tool underneath it, and then I'm going to leave it on the bat, and I'd bag it really, really well. If I'm in the studio and I'm here, say if I'm working for about 4 hours, by the end of the 4th hour, potentially, if this is unbagged, I can then lift it off the bat and put it in a bag so that I could trim it tomorrow. You don't have that option as a student. So my suggestion would be, you're done throwing, you leave it on the bat, you clean up everything at the end of the class. Best case scenario is you come back over, use the wire tool, wire it off, and then leave it on the bat, but you wire it like 1 or 2 times. And then you're going to bag it in the big blue bags. And so the next day, the first thing you're going to do is put the bat back down, do the wire one more time, hopefully before you can pop it off. Okay? Because they are difficult to do. If you're fortunate enough to be able to take a class in college, if you're at a good school, they're going to actually have bats that are made of plaster. And I've already told you at the beginning that a plaster bat absorbs moisture out of your clay. It absorbs moisture out of your clay, so it will be taking the water out and drying at the same time, so it's able to be made a lot quicker.